Ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody. Certainly proud of the team and the effort they put forth today. It was, just felt like Army football today, being able to run the ball and control the game on offense, control the clock. We finished some drives. We unfortunately had a couple that we left out there, but our defense responded. I thought our defense did a really nice job. Put them in a bad spot, fumbling that ball there late in the fourth quarter. And credit to Coastal Carolina. They're a good football team, very talented football team. Went down and scored and had a chance to kick an onside kick. That makes you a little squeamish when the game gets to that point. It's only one score, but fortunately we came through and found a way. So it was a great win for our guys. Certainly a much needed win after the way things have gone this year. It's just great to see our guys line up and play really tough football and find a way to win. So it's a great way to go into the next one.
Go ahead, Ken.
Coach, congratulations. 365 yards rushing today, 0 yards passing. It seemed like you went under center for most of the time, not a lot of wide receivers out. It seemed like you were going back to the offense of a couple of years ago. What was the thinking today?
Well, we'd gotten in that just a couple of snaps in the game prior, and we just felt like we needed to go at them. They were a very athletic football team. You watch them on film, and they're running sideline to sideline and really athletic and fast. And we just didn't feel like making it a perimeter game and trying to keep up with their speed was going to be the best way for us to win the game. We felt like we needed to run the football, and so we've been kind of working on some of the under center stuff and having it ready and having it prepared, and felt like this was going to be the best approach to start the game. And I don't know that I anticipated we were going to stand it the entire game, but we were moving the football and controlling the clock and scoring, and so we stuck with it. And the guys did a really good job of executing it. And credit goes to Cody Worley. He called the under center plays for us, and he's got a lot of experience doing it. And it's amazing how the guys that have played, our veteran players, almost like riding a bike, they were able to kind of go back to the fundamentals. And Tyson Riley, who hasn't really played running back the entire season, and he steps in there and goes through the mesh and did a great job. And Jacoby, and really happy for those two guys. It was a great effort on their part, both of them.
I was going to ask you, Tyson Riley had 112 yards, the opening touchdown, 43-yard run in the third quarter, and Jacoby Buchanan key plays 60 yards today. How is it just seeing the production you got from that position?
It's just a combination of both of those guys really doing a nice job of running the football, finding the seams. They had to slide some of those runs where it was they take the handoff and there's an aiming point for them, and they had to slide out or slide to the side of a block a couple of times and got extra yards, and they did a really nice job with that. But I thought our offensive line played really well. But they did a nice job of moving people to tight ends, and we were in a reduced formation or a condensed formation for much of the game, and that called on a whole lot of guys to kind of be contributing in there to those runs inside. So it was a good mix. Some stuff inside. We got the ball pitched to the perimeter. Got the ball tossed out there a couple of times, and so it was just it's fun to be back out there and kind of seeing that stuff going again.
And Coach, at the end of the second quarter, you gave up a 31-yard touchdown pass, so it was 21-14 at the half. How important was it for the defense to make a stop on the first drive in the third quarter?
That was big. I had hoped we could get them off the field and not have them score before halftime. And having a 14-point lead would have been a little bit of a nice buffer there. But like I said, they're a really good football team and very talented. And they scored, and we like to kick off. We normally defer, and as it was, they do the same. So they won the toss, and we knew going out there was going to be important. We got to stop, and for those guys to get the stop and us to go and get another touchdown and make it 28, that gave us some breathing room that we really needed.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, when you have the production that you had today, running the under center stuff, is there any part of you that wishes you might have got to it a little bit earlier this year, or no?
There is, and I think I probably entered this season thinking we could do a little bit of both. It's not easy to do. Hard to serve two masters. What we've got to figure out is how we can make both of them work. And you can't have the same playbook that you had in the past with all the plays that we did under center, and then all the stuff we've done from the gun. And you kind of got to pick what you think you'd be good at and what fits our team. And I really thought the blocking rules were prohibitive for us executing the offense as we had done it for so many years as effectively. I mean, there are plays today where when we pitch the ball out there, I would love for our slot backs to go out there and cut those guys, because there's lots of yards left out there when you got to stay up and kind of dance with those guys out there, and the ball gets strung out. But also the linebackers in the box. Every time there was motion, their linebackers were just screaming. Well, in the past, we've been able to go up and cut those guys with a fullback or a tackle or a tight end or whoever. So it does change our ability to be able to run it the way that we always have. But there's probably a mix in there somewhere. And certainly there's, when we installed the offense, the gun option offense, we had invested so much through the spring and preseason camp, and I just really felt like we're going to continue to get better. We're going to grow in this offense. Our guys will improve, and we have in a lot of ways, but we haven't had the production. We haven't scored points, and we haven't controlled football games, just like I felt like we did today. I don't know what the time of possession was, but it had to be pretty big in our favor. So that's the Army football of old, and it's really what I thought we could do with the gun options: control the game the same way, just do it a different way, and maybe we can. This is year one, and it certainly hasn't gone like I hoped it would. There's certainly times throughout the season where I wish we would have had some of the things we had today, but as we recognized the need for it, we started to do some of it in practice, and it's hard to just draw it up on a board at halftime and just say, go run this. You got to practice it. But I bear that responsibility. It's my responsibility to make those decisions and recognize what needs to be done. Perhaps have recognized it earlier, but I'm glad we did enough today to win.
It's fun to watch. You said Coach Worley was calling plays today, so was he the co-offensive coordinator today, or sort of?
He called the under center plays. He's the coach on our staff with the most experience running under center option, and I'm not going to call the plays.
Yeah.
I've been around this offense a long time, but I got a job to do, and I tried to do that my first year at Georgia Southern. It's hard. It's hard to be the coordinator and be the head coach, and you want to talk about losing some sleep, Sal? I mean, you're laying there at night thinking, okay, if we got this play called and they line up in this front, or we get in this formation and they don't take a guy over, what's our check going to be? And you show up to go through the offensive staff meetings, and there's 5 new things on your desk that weren't there before. And, it's recruiting, and you still got the defense. And I went through the first 8 games at Georgia Southern. I had no idea what we were doing on defense. I'm over there drawing up plays on the sideline and over there at the bench. But I watched Paul Johnson do that for a long time. I thought that's how you're supposed to do it. He was masterful at it. But that wasn't what was best for our team. So
He called the the bowl game, right? Wasn't his
West
first-
Virginia.
Yeah, he called the bowl game before, so this was the first time.
That was, Brent Davis was coordinator's out with COVID,
Yeah.
and he called it.
Yeah.
So Cody's really smart, really good football coach, and, you know, give Drew Thatcher credit, you know, the humility of that. He's feeding information to him, and he's on the headset, and it was certainly a team effort. And, but like I said, we didn't anticipate necessarily doing that the entire day, but it just worked out that way.
Thanks.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Bryson said that the game went faster, the offensive, they got to the play faster. Do you think that played a role in the fact that there weren't that many penalties? I don't think there was any holding penalties today. In addition, there really weren't many turnovers. You had the interception late in the first half, and then the one fumble, of course. Do you think that played a role?
I don't understand what was faster.
He said that the plays happened faster. It was the plays were very quick today under center.
Well, they hit differently. It hits a lot faster. When the tailback is running downhill, going full speed, it gets into the line of scrimmage faster. That's certainly a fact. And I think that's one of the things that is valuable about this offense. And it's different. Coastal Carolina hadn't seen anybody run that all this year. And they saw us run 3 plays of it last week. So I'm certain they spent most of their time with all the stuff we've been we've been doing all this year. And so they started out in one front. They moved to a different front, kind of settled into that front, and being able to adjust. And I'm sure they were over there with chalkboard every time their offense had the ball and trying to draw things up. And we just had enough answers today to be able to keep the ball moving. So it's probably a little bit of a surprise for them.
You beat 3 teams so far that are near the top of their divisions: Air Force, Coastal, and UTSA. And plus, they were senior day, and I think you're 9-1 on senior day. Do you think the team rises to certain occasions?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think certainly I'm speaking for senior day. I think our guys took a lot of pride in that, and they know this is the last opportunity for those guys to play in this stadium, and it means a lot to them. But at this point in our season, as many disappointments as we've had, and the way I've continued to see this team fight and the resilience, we've had some disappointing moments. We've had some really down, disappointing moments this year. But our players have continued to practice. I've not seen a poor attitude out of them. I've not seen any quit. And there's a lot of teams that fold the tents after a 5-game losing streak. But our guys they're just fighters. They're tough. And that doesn't get you a victory every time, but they've continued to battle. And so they approached this week with a really great attitude. They were prepared. Our coaches did a good job of simplifying the game plan and allowing our guys to play really fast. And then they made some plays today. They made some plays. We made some good stops and some good tackles, some good blocks and runs. Had a block punt for a touchdown, which was a huge play, and again, it's a difference in the football game. So our guys were just excited to play, and they know what a good team looks like. And I think everybody that's a competitor enjoys a good challenge. That doesn't mean that throughout the year that all the other games weren't important. Our guys weren't trying. Our guys were. We didn't perform very well. I did a very good job coaching them at times, and so I was really glad those guys got a win today, and to put together a 3-game win streak going into the biggest game of the year, and hopefully give us some confidence and some excitement about finishing the season. It's going to take our very best effort. I know that other team's going to be fighting like crazy to win the game too.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win today. For me, what gave you the confidence that Tyson Riley was going to be able to play a major role in today's offense, especially since he had gone 2+ months without a carry?
So we anticipated we were going to use the under center stuff a good bit, not necessarily the entire day. So I guess you evaluate who are the best guys that we've got running the football for under center, and we're going to be running our traditional triple option plays. Jacoby Buchanan and Tyson Riley. Those are the two best players to run that stuff. The most experienced guys that you can look and say, have they made a play in a game? Yes, they've done that and made plays in games playing that position. So we repped those two guys. And some of the other guys we gave repetitions to as well. But as I said in practice, we didn't do that the entire day. We didn't practice that all day long. In fact, I think yesterday in practice, we probably had, I'm trying to think, we probably had 60 plays that we had scripted in the practice yesterday. Maybe not that, maybe 50 plays. I think 14 of them were under center. Wednesday, which we have big days on Tuesday and Wednesday, I think we had three team periods. There were 27 plays in each team period scripted. So if I do the math on that, that's 81 plays. It's pretty good for a PE major. We had, I think, 12 plays that were scripted under center. So it really wasn't something we thought we were going to do the whole game. It's just a change up. But as it turned out, I wanted to start the game under center. And I said, we'll stick with it as long as it's going good. It was going good, so we stayed with it. And those two guys have run those plays in that mesh 1,000 times, maybe more, in their career. I mean, I just think of all the reps that they've had in individual, in group work, in mesh, in team, in games. Those guys have done that over and over. So I felt like they'd be able to do that. There's other guys too. Jarrell Dixon and Markel Johnson, those guys have all taken reps and meshed. Kanye Udo did it for a year at the prep school last year. They're all very capable. But those two guys have made plays. And I just felt like going with the guys that had done it, that we believed in, would be the best 1-2 punch. So they both did a great job.
Fair enough. And final one from me. If you could describe this senior class in a word, what would it be?
Resilient. Their leadership this year, I think, is reflective of that description.
Appreciate your time and insight. Congrats on the win.
We'll do 2 on Zoom. Charles, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Coach, and congratulations on the win today.
Thank you, Charles.
Once again, untimely penalties showed their face today, but beyond that, the offense and to some degree the defense were relatively consistent, especially the offensive running game. As such, Bryson looked extremely comfortable running the offense today, along with the pitches to Robinson and Marshall. Can you talk about how you felt Bryson ran the option today, but more so the running of the offense overall?
I can't say enough for the job he did reading the option. So that's not something we do every day over and over like we did in the past. Now, he still has to read the option. He still has to, in the gun, there are triple option plays where he puts the ball in the back stomach and has to read a defender, and it may be a pitch, it may be an RPO. So it's not like he doesn't do that, but the fast hitting under center, where that tailback is right on him, and he's got to make a split-second decision based on the defender. He really did a great job, and we repped it this week. I mean, we gave him some individual and some group work snaps at it. Like I said, we ran some plays in practice, but it wasn't like we were running the triple option plays where he was reading it every single time. There's a toss play, and there's a trap play, and things like that that were called runs. So it's just a matter of him getting the ball exchanged to the correct guy. So he did a great job. that's a guy that doesn't have a lot of game reps doing it, just a ton of practice reps, and he did a terrific job. Took care of the ball. Like I said, we left some drives out there. The fumble at the end, that probably was the most frustrating play of the entire day for me. And I'm trying not to let it sour the victory for me, but it could have cost us the football game. So we got to take care of the ball. But that's not on him. It's not on him. He did a really good job of distributing the ball and reading those guys. And there was one handoff to Tyson. Their lineman did a little up stunt, like he looked like he was going to take the fullback, and then went up the field and he handed the ball off. It's a really good job. It's not an easy read to make, and he did it. So he's just continued to impress me, how tough he is and how much of a competitor he is, and did a great great job leading the team today. The penalties are the ones where we false started that in Jacoby a couple of times. We ran a quick motion in front of his face, and the second time he said, I just jumped on the motion, so those are foolish penalties that we like to try to avoid. The penalties on defense, the hands to the face, those are aggressive penalties. Those guys are just trying to rush the passer and make a play, and they get their hand up underneath the guy's face mask, and they've got to get their hand out of there and replace it. But those are aggressive penalties, and we had some others. The aggressive penalties, they hurt. 15-yard penalty, that hurts. But the guys are trying to play hard. I get more upset with the ones that are the 5-yard penalties for false starting or being offsides, things like that. Those we have much more control over.
Thanks again, Coach, and congrats again.
Thank you, Charles.
Ken, close us out.
Hey, Jeff, Ken McMillan from The Record. Jeff, let's talk defense. The fact that McCall had the concussion, so I think people thought he wasn't going to play, but Vasco had been playing. And of course, then they went with Jared Guest.
Mm-hmm.
How did your team react to it? What kind of a job do you think they did on him?
I thought they did a good job, and I was surprised that I didn't. Nate Woody said something to me in pre-game. He came up and he said he thought it was going to be Guest, which they're a little bit different, but they really tried to go at us with the passing game. I thought our guys did a good job in the first half of stopping the run. I think they had 8 yards at halftime running the football. And just when you think you're doing a good job stopping the run, they run a triple option play down their sideline for about 60. I don't know what it was, but that was tough to watch. We've done such a good job of stopping the run. They're a good football team, and they're a very well coached football team. I was just very, very pleased with our defense and how hard they played and how rugged and tough they played today. And we gave up that play in the fourth quarter, the touchdown, and it's a little hairy there. But Casey Larkins, he's trying to make a play. He's in position, and their kid just made a great play and went over the top of us and got it. So I thought the defense did a terrific job. And they were charged up and played really physical and played really fast. And I'll see on the film. I haven't obviously had a chance to look at that yet, but I think we tackled pretty well. We missed some, but I thought we did a good job of tackling and getting to the ground.
And Jeff, last one. Had you pondered this move to under center, especially the nature of how you did it today? Did you ponder that earlier this season? And how tough is it for you to make that switch? Because some people would say, oh, maybe they're second guessing themselves.
I've been pondering that since last spring. Like I said, my intention was to be able to do both. I think it's really hard to do both. You can be a hybrid. We played a team when I was at Georgia Southern. There was a triple option team in the league, Wofford, and they were an under center team, but they run some gun. They always had a gun package, and they were good at it. And they were able to kind of figure out their niche to do both. And they didn't win every single game, but they won a lot of football games. And were able to control the clock and did a really good job with the offense. And that perhaps I thought maybe we could be a little bit like that, be able to have, as we in the past, we've been on our center team, had some gun. be a gun team and have some under center, but try to do what's best for your team and to give our guys the best chance to win. And when you put so much time and so much investment into the gun option stuff, as soon as you start practicing plays from under center, you have to take away from the fundamentals and the timing and everything that goes with those other plays. And so it's determining what's best. How much do we want to limit ourselves? And so many of the plays that any offense has, they're answers to what the defense is doing. You run a certain play, or you in a certain formation, and they either defend that play a certain way or line up in a particular defensive structure, and you've got another call then to counter that. And the under center option was like that. The gun option stuff's like that. The people that run the air raid offense, they all got answers. It's just football. So to be able to have the answers for everything, both under center and gun, is a challenge. And as I said just a little bit ago, I thought we would continue to get better and continue to improve at the gun stuff enough that we would start to become like we had been and be able to control the game on offense, which is what we need to do here. We have to do to be able to be successful. And so I thought running a little more gun stuff, a little more under center stuff today may help us do that. And as it turns out, we went all under center, with the exception of the last play of the first half where we threw the interception.
Coach,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Coach, just a quick question. How much of adjustment did Bryson Daly have to make this week? He's been doing the shotgun all year, and then you call on him to do the under center that he did in past years, but he never really played a game. Well, how about his adjustment this week?
There's an adjustment with everything. Taking the snap, our centers and the center quarterback exchange, just snapping the ball and being able to make that exchange is a huge difference from the shotgun. So it wasn't just Bryson; it was those guys too. But they all did a really good job with it, and so it was an adjustment. It is an adjustment when you're catching the ball 5 yards deep in the backfield and meshing with a back that's right next to you, or standing under center, and the guy's running full speed at the line of scrimmage. There's an adjustment, and he did a really good job. This week, we added a little bit more. We've been doing some stuff the last couple of weeks. Didn't run much of it a week ago. Put in a little more this week, and so he got a few more reps, and he did a really good job.
How about Brady Small, your freshman center?
Brady's played great all year. I'm really proud of that guy. He started in the opener. We thought Billy Katsianis was probably going to be the starting center. Billy got hurt in preseason camp. Small got the first start, and he played great in the first game, but held up pretty good. And he's just improved so much. He's such a tough kid. He played injured today, which makes me even more proud of the job he did. Just a tough kid.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Ken.
Go ahead, Dylan.
What do you think your Army has improved on since last game, and what do you think you have to improve on to go into Navy?
Well, that's a good question, my man. We definitely got better at running the football. We ran the ball today for more yards than we run the ball for all year long. And so that was a definite improvement. I thought the confidence of our offense really fed off of our ability to be able to run the football today. And so, Dylan, the next game's the biggest game. And what we're gonna have to do to improve for that game is not turn the ball over, because a turnover in the Army-Navy game can cost you the football game. We gotta do that. And we've gotta eliminate the big plays by the other team. We gave up a couple of big plays today on defense, and if we could eliminate those big plays on defense, we probably could have kept them from scoring as many points. So we certainly want to do those two things. There's other things too, but those will help us win the Army-Navy game. Great question.
Do you have one, Tyler?
How does this game feel going into Navy?
Well, I'm glad we won the game, Tyler. it's tough when you're disappointed and you lose a game or something happens that gets you down in the dumps to kind of get your spirits back up. Certainly after you win, like we did today, and really I thought a good tough hard battle against a good team. Everybody's spirits are up. Everybody's going to be excited to come into work tomorrow, come to the meetings, come to lift, come to practice. And I think there's going to be a great energy and spirit with our guys tomorrow. So that's what today did for us.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thank
Be
you,
Dave.
congratulations.
Dave.